Welcome to the Writer's Edge. I'm your host, Kristy Stratus, and tonight we're talking about Sisters in Crime. This is a writing group. There is reading involved as well, and we have Kristina Rienzi with us, president of Sisters in Crime, the Central New Jersey chapter. So if you are not already subscribed to the Writer's Edge, please subscribe right now, like this video, and hit the notification bell. And let's just go right into Kristina. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Hi, guys. My name is Kristina Rienzi. I am a thriller author, a writer coach, and I'm currently president of Sisters in Crime Central New Jersey. And that's the majority of it. That's all I got.
Very modest. You have a lot of books published.
Still working on them. I'm working on them. So we'll
And you guys know me. I'm Kristy Stratus, author of the Dark Victoriana collection, which includes The Anatomy of a Darkened Heart and Brotherhood of Secrets. And my latest short story is actually horror, just in time for Halloween. And it is called The Subtlety of Terror. So check it out on Amazon. So let's dive right in. And Kristina, if you could tell us what Sisters in Crime is. I am a member, but for everyone out there who isn't yet in it, could you tell us what it is?
Sure. So Sisters in Crime is a national writing organization for mystery writers, crime writers, and people who write in that genre, suspense, thriller, but primarily who write in the crime and mystery. It also, we currently have 3,600 members in the national chapter. There are 51 local chapters, which Central Jersey is one of those chapters. The organization was started in 1986 by a group of women who wanted to work on the promotion, recognition, and advancement of women in the crime writing field. So it's really an organization that's out for excellence and diversity in crime writing. And there's a lot of great programs that we'll talk about this evening. But it's also, like Kristy mentioned, for readers. So the organization's comprised of authors, readers, agents, publishers, booksellers, and librarians.
It's been amazing when I've been to meetings and we've had these wonderful speakers, which we'll get into in a little bit, who afterwards, I talk to them and it's great. They're willing to talk to you afterwards and you find out that they're like New York Times bestselling authors. And you're like, oh my God, that's amazing. I just got to speak to this person and get their wisdom. So like, you really never know who's going to show up at a meeting. This really is a huge organization. So would you say that people from any genre should join, or like, should it really just be crime mystery? What would you say?
So, I mean, my personal opinion about writing organizations is go where you feel most comfortable, because as a writer, you never know what you might want to write. When I first started writing, I joined a romance organization simply because my friends were in it, and I learned so much from that. So yeah, the things that were related directly to romance didn't really help me as much as the general writing. So I would say anybody who's interested in writing, primarily mystery, crime, suspense, thriller, but certainly if you just like what the organization has to offer, if you're looking for a local chapter of writers to get together with, you will get something out of it. And you never know, you may end up writing a mystery one day.
That's so true. I'm also not a mystery author, but I joined and I was amazed at what I learned. And I am ending up actually writing something that will be more heavily mystery, which I never anticipated. Now I'm going to get to use all the stuff I've learned in Sisters in Crime. So it really is an inspirational group to join. I really highly recommend it. But also, I know Sisters in Crime, probably different chapters do different things, but Sisters in Crime does sometimes pair up with different groups as well. What kinds of groups does your chapter pair up with?
So in terms of writing groups, I'd say primarily what I've seen, at least in the Central New Jersey chapter, is we've paired up with Mystery Writers of America many times. I'm partnered on different things. I know that we do have a lot of members that cross-pollinate with international thriller writers also. And then also there are some organizations locally to us that run different kinds of conferences. Like we have a conference in New Jersey every year called Deadly Inc. And that a few of our members run that. So, I think we're pretty open and as a group about partnering with other organizations so long as we are promoting writers. And also we've actually partnered with another local chapter, Liberty State Fiction Writers, which is in New Jersey, and then also romance writers, because we do have romantic suspense authors. So there are a lot of authors who write many different genres and cross-pollinate. So I feel like Sisters in Crime is really very open to kind of partnering with organizations that promote writing, and certainly promote the advancement and development of professional women who write crime and mystery.
Yeah, and of course, genre mixing is a huge thing now. So, if you were to match up with, like a romance writers group, we would get, so much out of it. I mean, any writers groups that pair, you meet new people, and it's just a great social situation. And that's the case with Sisters in Crime too. When you go to a meeting, you end up meeting a lot of people, and it's a really wonderful experience.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think you never know what you're going to use in a book. So even though you might not be writing romance per se, if you're a mystery writer, if there's an element of romantic suspense in one of your novels, or you have a B story relationship, that all of these things come into play. And again, the opportunities, because not all of the people who do presenting, which I know we're going to talk about in a little bit, are strictly crime and mystery writers. They're just writers, and they're looking to promote writing and the advancement of our chapter and the national organization. So you will find that you're going to end up getting something out of it anyway. And, my recommendation really is to try out different organizations, writing organizations. If there's a local Sisters in Crime chapter, to try that out and just see how you connect with the people. Because I think it is, like you said, Christy, more about the people and connecting with them and having that camaraderie and that local place you can go to talk writing. And everyone is really supportive. And there's always opportunities to learn and grow. And I think that's what the writing community is all about.
I agree with you there. And a lot of times, you'll connect on different topics with people that you meet through your writing or, reading, as you said before. And, I've been to meetings where somebody will actually turn out to have the same food allergies as me. And I end up connecting with them on a whole other level.
You never know.
And it's a lot of fun, you just never ever know who you're going to meet. So
Absolutely.
I would love to know, what kinds of events and parties are held. I've been to a number of them. I really love them. They're 100% worth just joining in general, besides the social aspect and everything else. But what kinds of events and parties do you guys have?
So in terms of, I can speak specifically to the Central Jersey chapter, but I know that all the chapters, I mean, we all share our information. One of the benefits of being a member is we have different newsletters that come out and different opportunities for promotion. So you get to see what other chapters are doing. So for our chapter, we do a lot of fun things. We try to have several events a year, several presenters a year, several events a year. Things like, for example, on Saturday, we typically celebrate Agatha Christie's birthday in September when it actually is her birthday. But this year that didn't work out for our calendar. So we're celebrating it on Saturday. We're going to have a party with Agatha Christie historian, someone who has studied Agatha Christie and her stories. And so we'll have some information there about her and her 11-day disappearance, which is always something that people talk about. And we're also going to do a little bit of a theme party. So we'll kind of dress in honor of Agatha Christie just to make it more fun. And we'll have, food and raffles and just fun things just to make it really enjoyable for the members. We also will do an annual tea party, and we have like a formal tea party where we get dressed up, and we'll do like a just giveaways and just fun things for the members. We do holiday parties every year where we exchange gifts, and we have like a big just celebration of our chapter. Readers and writers always welcome, which is great. We have a lot of readers that do come, and they want to meet their author friends and just kind of engage with the authors and their books. So that's great. And then usually for us, we'll do at least like one field trip a year. We'll go somewhere and we'll learn about it. Like this year we went to a farm just to learn about, it was a local farm that hosted us. And the idea was country crimes. And we wanted to learn, like, what could we learn? What could we put in a book if we had a crime in the country? So just anything that kind of gets us out of our, meeting space and gets us engaging with local people who can really bring a sense of genuineness and also educate us about where we live and how we can incorporate that in our stories. And it's been, just really successful. Another thing we do, which is we'll participate in like street fairs where we'll sell our books. We'll do library events, book signings at Barnes and Noble and other libraries. So we do try and get out there in the community and meet readers as well as other authors. And, we just think that connecting with people one-on-one is really important. So getting out there and doing that is also something that we're committed to.
And I can speak to that with the signings. I'm actually going to have my very first signing, and it's because of Sisters in Crime. So
Oh,
that's gonna be
congratulations. That's amazing.
yeah, yeah, it's really exciting. And I really never knew like how to do something like that. And the opportunity came because of Sisters in Crime. So, that's an amazing opportunity. And I don't have to, pay like this huge amount to go to a con and not really know if that's going to work out for my book or, be by myself. I have my sisters there, so it's a lot more comfortable too. It's going to be a great first
It
experience.
will be.
Yeah, and I really love with the parties, it's not just a party. You can look forward to the speakers. So even if you're not like the most socially apt person or you feel awkward with small talk or anything, everyone's talking about like the speaker and about writing and publishing and stuff. This is like such an easy, way to get together with people and just have a nice time. So, even if you're not somebody who goes out like that often and is nervous about socializing, this is the perfect type of group for you.
Sure. And especially as a writer, I think, you're around people. I always feel like it's like I'm around my people, like that get me and understand. And there's something to be said for that, when you spend so much time alone in the writing cave. And yeah, there's a great, I mean, my gosh, I network so much online and I love it. And doing the videos and I have my Facebook group and just different things. It's awesome. But it really is also very like, it's an amazing thing to connect in person and having that opportunity for sure.
Absolutely. And it gives you automatic topics to talk about. So again, I just love it. It's a lot of fun. So also, what kinds of speakers do you have at meetings? And I know that we've already talked a little bit about that, but let's get more in depth because it's almost every single meeting that there's a speaker. And I learn so much from these people, so much. I have a notebook full of notes.
Yeah. I will say, like, I love learning too. And this is like my favorite part. The parties are great, but, and connecting, but the speakers really are unbelievable. I've been to a lot of different writing organizations and their meetings, and I've always had a great experience. I think this is something that we thrive in as writing organization is our speakers. So we've had everything from New York Times bestselling authors to like, we had Hank Phillip Ryan. I mean, she's a reporter in Boston. She's also a bestselling author, but we had her for a special event. We do use the Speakers Bureau at Sisters in Crime to access the bigger name authors to get like up close and personal with them, pick their brain. They typically won't just show up. They do a workshop. So you're really learning and connecting with them. We've had editors. I found somebody on there one time that, just really was able to help me with where I was in that moment in time in terms of my stories and working with a publisher or indie and so forth. So, you just get people who get the business and are there to help. We had agents come and we've also had an agent come where this session, he took pitches, which is amazing. And I think one of our members got signed with him. So that was pretty cool. We've also had first responders, law enforcement, forensic analysis. We've had CSIs, crime scene investigators. We've recreated death scenes and walked through them. We've had people who are, have walked us through just general writing stuff, plot, just characters, things about writing that, or we can see it from a fresh perspective. There's been so much. I would say the things I love the most, because obviously I am a crime writer and I write mysteries, suspense, and thrillers, is I do love learning the truth behind fiction, like the fact in fiction, the things that I want to know and I want to get right about how a police officer would interrogate somebody. What's, reality and what's like, is fiction. What happens at a crime scene? Who shows up and why and when, and what would it happen in New Jersey and in the county that I live in? And how do I find that information out? Usually in addition to all of the people that come and the information that they bring with them, they're going to give you resources, websites to check out, blogs to check out, things to follow that will give you this information. And as a result of this, I've done really cool things. Like I went to, another thing that we also work with Writers Police Academy, which is an awesome annual event. Typically happens in Wisconsin, but Sisters in Crime National sponsors it all the time. So there are a lot of things like that where you're partnering because we're looking to get it right. It's not just about publishing the story of our heart, which is really important, right? We all want to do that, and we want to, do that creative piece that fulfills that need. But it's also about getting it right. It's also about doing the genre justice, doing it the way that is going to be satisfying to a reader. And we're all learning and growing all the time. And just because, you wrote a suspense, like I wrote suspense, I've never written a cozy mystery. That's something I want to do. That's something completely different. It's a completely different set of rules around the cozy mystery. A thriller is different as well. And so is a traditional mystery. And within mystery, what are you writing? Are you writing noir? Are you writing, an amateur detective? Are you writing hard boiled? There's so many different kinds. And so Sisters in Crime, like Mystery Writers of America, which we do partner with them a lot, they'll help you figure all this out, right? Like there's a lot of resources on their website. There are programs, and we can talk about that too. But the speakers in general are going to be look for diversity in speakers. So every year we set up our schedule and we look for, what do we have? Do we have forensics? Do we have law enforcement? Do we have first responders? Do we have a CSI person? Do we want that? Or did we do enough of that last year? Do we want a medical examiner? Maybe that's what we want this year, or a coroner. Or maybe we want a private detective, private investigator. What do we really want this year? What did we have last year? Do we want to bring somebody back? Do we want to do more? One time we had people, we had the cops bring their dogs. We had canines. We had police canines come, and they told us about the training and how, what they're trained to do and what they would do at a scene and what kind of scene. So, it really runs the gamut. Like we literally had dogs at our meeting. It was pretty amazing. I was really excited about that. But so we've had it all, and we will continue to do that because it's about the experience for the people who are members, be it a writer or a reader, to get either as a reader insight into the process and learn a little bit more about a topic that they might enjoy reading about, even if it's fiction or true crime, right? And then for the writers, it's about getting that holistic perspective so that you can take a piece of everything and incorporate it into your story so it's more real and that your reader can have that experience. And it's also really cool. And the people are so gracious and awesome that come to speak. They really are. And they give so much of themselves to us, and they give us their cards. So if we have a question after, it's like we're emailing officer so-and-so or the fire marshal or whatever, because they really do want to be a part of this for us and they want to help us get it right.
I've found that so many times that they're happy to answer questions one-on-one. You can just go up to them afterwards and have a private conversation with them even, which is amazing. And I remember the first one that I went to, or one of the first ones, was Shelley Freidont, and she did historical mystery and also romance. But I was really amazed because I write historical fiction myself, psychological suspense. And when she started getting into historical mystery, I was sort of like, I'm not sure how that would work. I just hadn't happened to read it yet. And she really, these are information-packed sessions. This is not somebody who's, trying to get you to take their course or something like that, like we're used to online. These are packed with information. You're going to be writing down practically every sentence they say. Yes. And I'll just, and with the detective that we had, I know at some point, again, like I was just pages and pages of notes. I couldn't get over how much I was learning, and the things that they would tell us, you typically find online, this information that isn't quite true. Here's how it actually works, and like, that's super valuable. Where are you going to find that, So I just love that. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. Getting up close and personal is probably my favorite part because they're, at a bigger conference, it's great too. You get a lot of that. But this is really close. And we do have a lot of members come. I would say we've had meetings of 50 or more people. It's not that it's a small group. It's just you're in one room and you're all there together and you're there to learn. And they usually have handouts. They usually, there's always something to go home with in addition to the notes. And they're available for you if you're writing a story to contact them and ask questions, which I think is great because they're local resources. So I love that about it too. I think it's really helpful for us to get it right and to just learn something new and exciting. Maybe there were so many times I've been to these presentations with the speakers and I knew were coming and I'm like, okay, maybe I will, maybe I won't get something out of it. Not because they're not great, but because my story is going down a different path. Right. But guess what? It sparked an idea. It sparked an idea for a story. It's like, oh, that's really cool. Maybe I'll write a story about such and such, or maybe that element needs to be in one of my stories. Like you're always walking away with something that you can use in a story, even if you don't think it applies to you when you walk in the door. You can find a way for it to apply to you. And it's always helpful. And that I love because I never feel like I didn't get something out of it, even if it wasn't like, again, I don't write historical, but there's something about when you hear someone talking about their process, and even if it's the publishing route that she went or whatever, you're getting something out of it, which is awesome.
Always. Always. I totally agree.
Yeah.
We have Joe Compton has a question for us, and if you don't know him, he is from Go Indie Now. Check him out on YouTube and on Facebook under Go Indie Now. He is asking, how far across the world does Sisters in Crime exist? How many chapters are there? How far do they extend across the country and world?
Yeah, so there's 51 chapters. I have to look at a map to see how far across the world they are, but I'm assuming far because we have 51 chapters worldwide. So I could get back to you guys on that. Yeah, I mean, 3,600 members is a lot. And if you think about our chapter, I believe, I don't know how many members we have now. I feel like it's probably in the 75 range. 50 to 75 range. I mean, that's just one of the 50 chapters, right? I mean, there's so many. So yeah, I mean, we're pretty much everywhere. Listen, we could be bigger and we'd love to be, and let's keep growing. You know, if there's not a chapter in your area and you want to start one, absolutely reach out to national. Let's get more chapters going. But for sure, like, you know, we're getting up there. And that's only since 1986, which is really, I mean, it's a long time, but not really that long if you think about it.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
And while we're on the topic of Joe, he had another question that was actually asked before. And if any of you in the audience want to ask questions in the future, you can join us on our Facebook page, which is the Writer's Edge Show. We do ask ahead of time if you have any questions, and you can ask during the live stream. So Joe had asked, what has been the most rewarding aspect of Sisters in Crime that you know you would not have gotten elsewhere on your own?
So, yeah, I mean, I have joined a lot of other writing organizations, and they were all great and served their purpose. But I felt like Sisters in Crime, I found like where I belonged. Like I finally found a place that I belonged. It wasn't even just that I wrote the same thing as the people in the room, which was helpful for me because I felt like this was my place. It was the support, like they were all my people. They were like, you know, just the support, the kindness, the welcoming with open arms, the again, support, going in as president, not knowing even what that was going to look like. I had people all around offering help to me. Also, the speakers are awesome. And I think it was the opportunities from those speakers were really more about expanding my network and just, you know, opening my mind to different possibilities. It was a safe place for me. And I just honestly, and the things you've said, Chrissy, too, resonate with me. It's like, the caliber of the speakers and presenters blew my mind. They always have. And we are continually trying to find like the thing we didn't know and bring it to the group. It really is about not just getting together and talking writing. I mean, I think we get together to learn. We get together to support each other. The meetings are about learning something, networking, getting our name out there, and supporting each other. And that's it. I rarely find us wasting time. Like we're so busy. Like we have a meeting, we have a sprint dinner. I mean, there's not enough time in the day. And by the way, we're there from like 9 to 1, but there's not enough hours. Like we're doing stuff, we're productive, the energy in the room is so high, and it's all about the love for what we do. So when I leave a meeting, I feel motivated and inspired to write. I feel like I got this again, you know, and that is where I belong, you know. So for me, it was finding a small enough group, the right size group. So small enough where I could connect with everybody, know everybody's name, get to know them intimately, share, network, support, and learn something. And then also big enough so I felt like it was making an impact on the world, if that makes sense. Like it's big enough that I feel like, and the national behind us is amazing because I haven't even tapped into the things that national offers, and I'm trying, and it's amazing.
One of the small things that National offers, and then we'll move on to someone else's question, is you recently had a book re-release, and they will feature your book actually running across their website, which is great because it reaches God knows how many people. It's really an amazing thing to see your book running on their website. Very, very cool. And that's one of the tiny, tiny things they do.
Yeah, they support new releases. They support published authors. They support, there's a book club opportunity. You can submit your book for book club if it follows, you know, if it meets the criteria. There are contests. There's so many ways to get your name out there. It's really, again, it's all about, their goal was to promote the ongoing advancement, recognition and development, professional development of women crime writers. Now, there are men in the organization, so men are allowed to join. But the primary function of the organization was really to make sure that women were getting the recognition they deserved alongside men in the crime writing industry, which, you know, predominantly had been run by men for years, and women just weren't getting the recognition. I don't, you know, that's not as much the case anymore. I think that there definitely is. We've made a mark for sure, but it's just that support. And one of the things I just want to mention that they have is what's called a monitoring report. And they go out in the world, they look at what's being published, they look at the reviews, they just make sure that like women are getting their fair share, that there are really amazing writers out there, and the diversity in the writers. So it's just about equality, diversity, promotion. And again, we have men in our chapter and it's awesome. I mean, we're like sisters and misters, sisters and brothers. We're all one big family. It's fun. But we all we're really out there to just support each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. I want to also ask a question from Robert Cano, and if you are looking for his books, that is Cano. He has another one coming out soon. For those of us who do not develop our stories with writers groups, what would you say is the best aspect of doing so, and why?
So, you know, I think you can definitely write an amazing book and have an amazing career without being in an organization. I don't think that that's like necessary per se, but I think what it does for you is opens up your world. And for me, that was really important. The things that it does is, you know, you get real connections with people that you can talk to about stuff. I mean, I will say, like, my books get written in my office and my mind gets opened at the writing meeting, right? At the writing meeting, I get ideas. I talk to people. I find out what worked for them. And it's real. I mean, you'd be surprised when when you get together with people in person, the experience can sometimes be just so different. You know, there's networking opportunities, there's camaraderie, there's support, there's a real connection and friendship. And by the way, I have tons of real friendships online. I'm not going to put those down at all because I have some amazing people that I truly love online that I've never met in person yet. I mean, these are my writing people, but they're my writing people. I think when you're in a writing group, it's getting you out of your writing cave. It's getting you out in the world. It's opening your mind. It's giving you opportunities to maybe, you know, brush arms with somebody that you have something in common with that you can collaborate on, even if it's a book signing. Look, that's awesome. You know, going to, you know, sit together and meet people. Their readers come to you, your readers go to them. So it's about that connection, and readers too. So remember, readers come to our meetings too, not just writers. Not everybody that comes to the meeting is a writer. So there's readers, and that's a great place, you know, for them to come and you connect with them and make friendships. And so yeah, it's not, I wouldn't say anybody has to do it, but what I will say is, if I had just tried writing a book in the beginning, like 10 years ago, by sitting behind my computer and trying to figure it out online, I would never have come this far. I've come this far because I've had people holding me up. I've had people, you know, handing my hand to another person and introducing them. I've had like the energy pass between us. I've had people like Christy, who I met at a book signing and like was like, oh my God, you're awesome. Now we're friends. And like, she joined Sisters in Crime because of that. That is why. And I'm not saying she wouldn't have if I met her online, but I think it's just different. So for me, I think even if it's once a month, to just sit in a room with a bunch of writers and just be physically next to your people. Okay. I don't care if you're not even talking about your stories. You're just connecting with a writer that you can connect with and you can resonate with. It is worth it. It is worth it so much. So many doors have opened for me because of that. And it never happened from behind my computer. It always happened in front of people, and it's the writers that held me up.
Definitely. And I think a lot of people associate writing groups with critique groups, and that is not necessarily the case always. As we're saying, you know, this is about speakers and about socializing and getting to know each other and, you know, having friends that you can relate to and things like that. So while you can certainly do critique groups and book groups, just discussing books and stuff, there's also other aspects to keep in mind that do actually benefit your writing. And I think that that's so fantastic. Before we go, I know that there was also an anthology opportunity, and that was 30 Shades of Dead. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that too?
Yeah, so it's funny, and I probably have a copy around here somewhere if I can find it. I'll get up and grab it. But yeah, so 30 Shades of Dead was a collaboration that our chapter did. Now, Sisters in Crime National offers anthology opportunities all the time, and you can also have your chapter submit one for them. Well, we decided that we wanted to do one in honor, and so we collected short stories. The theme was 30 Shades of Dead. So it had to be, you know, a mystery theme, and there had to be the number 30 had to be significant in the story. And they're all different stories, like psychological suspense, there's thriller, there's you know, historical, there's all different kinds of suspense mystery stories in this book. And so for on Amazon right now, I believe it might be in more places than Amazon, but online, wherever it's sold, the proceeds go to benefit Sisters in Crime chapter of Central New Jersey. So it is like a nonprofit sharing there. When we're getting that ebook, those proceeds go directly to our chapter, and so that's pretty cool because I just love being able to support the members who support us, and it all comes back around. But yeah, and we're hoping to do another one. I don't know when we will, but we actually it was our 20th year anniversary this year, so we didn't have the time to get in an anthology, but we may do it next year. I don't know. So yeah, there's always those opportunities too, anthology opportunities. There's tons of opportunities. And just one more point I want to make on the whole critique group and readers group. We do have a critique group. We also have a readers group, like a book club, but no one is forced to participate at all. And I think everyone understands that a critique group is very personal, and that you know, you want to pick people that you connect with and you can really work with. So the people that choose to work together have worked together for years, and they're happy to do it, and they're welcome new members, but it's not, you know, anything that anyone has to do. And certainly, you know, I try to look at a writing group as opportunities for growth and connection. And that whole like writing group where you're getting feedback is really more of like a very personal thing that, you know, you do what's right for you when it comes to that.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for being with us tonight, Kristina. It was really great hearing about all the opportunities that there are out there for Sisters in Crime and in general. And tell everyone where they can find you after the show.
So you can find me at my website, KristinaRienzi.com. And I also, if you're a writer, I have a writers group on Facebook called Write Life. There's also information about that on KristinaRienzi.com, and I'm all over. All my links are there. Probably best just to go to my website and find me, and everything's there. And of course, sistersInCrime.org is where the national chapter is, and there's links to all the local chapters. So if you find a local chapter, go for it. Check it out. Certainly welcome to come to Central Jersey if you're in the area. We'd love to have you. And if you don't see a chapter in your area and you want to start one, reach out to National. They'd be happy to help you.
All right, great. And you guys know where to find us, thewritersedgeshow.com. And on Facebook, we are also The Writer's Edge Show. And of course, we're here on YouTube. As for me, you can find me at christystratus.com. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Creative Edge Writers Showcase. And our next episode of The Writer's Edge is going to be November 8th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And we are actually going to be talking about LGBTQ writing. So be sure to tune in for some great talks on diversity. So we will see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.